Your dog drops his favorite toy at your feet, tail wagging, eyes wide open, practically bouncing off the walls, and you think, look how happy he is. Or your cat weaves between your legs every single morning, right before you fill her bowl, and you think, she loves me. But what if both of those moments have almost nothing to do with happiness, and almost everything to do with something far more ancient and far more surprising? Here's what science actually found. Most people draw a straight line between their pet's behavior and their pet's emotions. Dog wags tail, dog is happy. Cat purrs, cat is content. It's intuitive, it's emotional, and it feels completely obvious. The problem is that behavioral scientists have spent decades studying what's actually happening inside the animal brain during those moments, and the picture they found is a lot more complicated and, honestly, a lot more fascinating than the simple version we've all been telling ourselves. The distinction they keep running into over and over again is the difference between wanting something and liking something. And once you understand that difference, you will never look at your pet the same way again. Back in the 1990s, neuroscientist Jaak Panksepp at Washington State University began mapping the emotional systems of the mammalian brain. He wasn't studying dogs or cats specifically. He was studying the deep architecture that all mammals, including humans, share. And one of the things he discovered was that the brain has two completely separate systems for desire and for pleasure. He called one of them the seeking system. And this is where things get genuinely strange. The seeking system is driven largely by dopamine. It activates when an animal anticipates a reward. It creates a kind of urgent, restless drive, the sensation of wanting, of searching, of pursuing. And here's the critical part. That system activates before the reward arrives. Sometimes it activates even when the reward never comes at all. What that means in practical terms is that your dog's excitement when you grab the leash isn't necessarily about the joy of walking. It may be the pure neurological high of anticipating the walk, the wanting, not the having. Theo noticed this once with Freud. He'd pick up the leash and Freud would spin in circles, panting, almost frantic with excitement. But the moment they actually got outside and the walk started, the frenzy dropped. Freud would just trot alongside him, calm, nose to the ground. All that energy had been the anticipation. The walk itself was almost secondary. That's the seeking system in action, and it runs on instinct, not emotion. At least not the kind of emotion we typically imagine. Now flip this over to cats. Cambridge University researchers studying feline cognition have repeatedly found that cats operate on what's called a motivational state model. Their behavior at any given moment is driven far more by internal biological states, hunger, reproductive cycles, territorial stress, sensory stimulation, than by any conscious decision to express affection or loyalty. When Luna weaves between Mia's legs every morning, she's not thinking, I love this person and I want them to know it. What's almost certainly happening is a combination of hunger signaling, scent-marking behavior, and something researchers call social facilitation, a learned association between Mia's presence and the arrival of food. The behavior is real. The bond that underlies it is real. But the mechanism is instinct wrapped around learned expectation, not an emotional performance. Mia used to think Luna was saying good morning. Now she wonders if Luna is actually just filing a very polite biological invoice. Here's the revelation that tends to stop people in their tracks. Scientists studying domestic dogs, including a landmark series of studies at the Family Dog Project in Budapest, found that dogs have developed something genuinely extraordinary. They can read human emotional cues with a sophistication that no other non-human species comes close to matching. Dogs track our gaze. They respond to our tone of voice. They even show what researchers call emotional contagion. They seem to catch our feelings, mirroring them in their own behavior. But here's the twist. That ability didn't evolve because dogs feel what we feel. It evolved because over roughly 15,000 years of coexisting with humans, the dogs who were best at responding to human emotional states were the ones most likely to survive. The attunement is real, but it began as a survival strategy, shaped by selection pressure, long before it became anything resembling what we'd call emotional empathy. The behavior that looks like love emerged from instinct, and somewhere along the way, and this is the part that's genuinely moving, something real grew out of it. Because here's what those same researchers keep finding, almost reluctantly, when they dig deeper. The bond between humans and their pets isn't just mimicry. It isn't purely mechanical stimulus and response. When dogs are separated from their owners, their cortisol levels rise, the stress hormone associated with anxiety and distress. When they're reunited, oxytocin increases in both the dog and the human, the same bonding hormone that drives attachment between mothers and infants. Cats show a more muted version of this. They're far less socially dependent than dogs by evolutionary design, but even in cats, researchers at Oregon State University found that the majority of cats show a secure attachment style toward their caregivers. Similar to what developmental psychologists see in human infants, the instinct and the emotion aren't opposites. They're layered on top of each other, and over thousands of years of living alongside us, those layers became genuinely hard to separate. So what does this mean for you, right now, with the animal asleep across the room? It means the behaviors you've been interpreting as pure emotional expression are often something richer, a blend of deep instinct, learned association, and a real neurological bond that neither you nor your pet fully chose. It happened gradually across generations, shaped by proximity and mutual dependence. Watch your dog the next time you pick up his leash. Notice whether the excitement peaks before the walk or during it. Watch your cat the next time she settles beside you. Not at feeding time, not when she wants something, but just when you're reading or sitting quietly. Notice whether she stays. Those small moments, once you know what you're looking at, carry a different weight. They're not just cute. They're evidence of something that took 15,000 years to build. The most honest thing science can say about our pets is this: we don't fully understand what they feel. We may never fully understand it. But we do know that their nervous systems are ancient, their instincts are sophisticated, and the behaviors they show toward us, the ones we so easily call love, emerged from a process that is stranger and more beautiful than simple affection. They weren't born loving us. In some ways, neither were we. And somehow here we are anyway. So here's what I want to know from you. When you watch your dog or cat right now, knowing what you know, what's one behavior you've always called happiness that you're now not so sure about? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want to keep exploring the science behind your pet's behavior, subscribe. There's a lot more where this came from.